Previously on Search4Hurt. After finally completing Search4Hurt's biggest event, a 2-day adventure race, Matt has shortened the distance for the next challenge, an Olympic distance triathlon. They'll be thrown in the middle of professional races.
Medic!
Pap has just finished the first half of an hour-long gym workout, given to him by the man with the Ned Kelly beard, Anton Grimace.
You look like a lumberjack.
He's not a lumberjack. He's a ski cross Winter Olympian. They fly down a course which is built to encompass both naturally occurring terrain and artificial features like jumps, rollers or banks.
All right, so we're at the base of the summit at Mount Buller. I'm here with Anton again, and we're about to do the second phase of our training. 80 meters of running up a big steep hill, and 60-meter cone, a 40-meter cone, and a 20-meter cone. I had to just run, sprint up and back multiple times. We're about to start our interval training, but man, I'm looking down at what you're wearing. You've got shorts, dude. How are you handling the cold?
It's no worries, mate. The beard makes up for it, keeps me warm, and the legs will look after themselves.
Aerobically training in this cold, it really stings the lungs.
Yeah, definitely. Like, not only the cold, you got to keep yourself warm, so your body temperature's got to fight that as well. So you tend to, up in the snow, burn a lot more calories.
Anton leads Pap up to the start line. He's decided Pap will start with the longest sprint first, 80 metres, working his way down to 20 metres. Each distance will need to be completed 3 times before moving down to the next shorter distance. Anton decides to join Pap on a practice run to see how he fares on this foreign surface. A little secret about Pap is that he's a very fast runner compared to the average man. And Man Mountain Anton shows incredible speed and power matching the pace. I guess that's expected being a Winter Olympic athlete.
Your legs start feeling it towards the end, and the cold air. Had the big fella breathing down my neck the whole time. It was good.
That's good, all right. We didn't start timing them, so you get adequate recovery. So,
Yep.
Probably you've had enough now.
I'm good, man.
Keep going.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
First up is to complete 3 80-metre sprints with a calculated recovery time of 80 seconds between each. Anton watches on with a smile on his face. This just might be the first and only time he gets to dish out the hurt to someone else. It's our pleasure, mate.
Oh, my legs. Bloody hell. Man. Oh, good times. It was an insane session, mental. I loved it, beautiful surroundings, but man, my legs are about to fall off.
So they head down with Pap thinking he's done for the day.
Right, Pat, now, done your last set? Well, you think you have anyway. Since we're going to search for some hurt, and we usually get surprised at the end of the session, we're going to do one last effort, all the way from the bottom to the top.
Running?
Running like we do.
Holy moly.
Let's get to it.
Pap's hesitant to complete his final sprint, but he knows that the ones that reach true greatness, like that of the Olympic level, you have to do what the others don't.
Now, since he's fatigued a bit more, it's going to be a lot harder. Who knows how he'll go. He might have to stop halfway, but hopefully he doesn't. He has to roll down that hill. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
So Pap, despite the hurt, pushes on.
Here we go, mate.
Battling exhaustion and enormous lactic acid buildup with stinging cold air in the lungs, he falls to the ground elated at reaching his target at the 80-metre mark.
How'd you find it?
Real, bro. Awesome. Heart rate up the whole time, yeah?
Yeah, good on you.
Thanks, man.
Sorry about that last one, I had to do it too.
Search4Hurt. Found Mount Buller, destroyed me. Hour gym session, getting flogged, interval training up here with the one and only Anton. So lucky to have this training session with such an elite athlete, a big athlete. Now I'm gonna look forward to getting warm and hopefully come back out and do supporting.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Cheers, bro.
Ahead on Search4Hurt, while Paps away, Matt will play. Well, punishing Leah in a workout, that is. Leah's about to embark on a quick challenge put on by Matt to prepare her for Townsville's Triathlon. A challenge to conquer the negative talk of the mind while pacing yourself at optimal running speed.
What we're going to do is try to teach your body to program its energy over a certain body of work. So we run 400, best average pace for 10 efforts. 400, 2-minute mark comes around, do another 400. Potentially 12 and a half minutes, 13 minutes of really hard work, and the recovery in there. How do you feel that you're going to attack it?
Yeah, look, I haven't really done much training like this lately, and for me to know how to pace is not going to be easy.
It takes a while to learn that, just that, not a happy zone, but that point that you're going to have to use in the triathlon, that this is a pace that I can just average to the finish, but you don't want to get to the finish where you're like, I had a little bit left in the tank. This is something that can take a while to learn. See what your body awareness has got.
Leah starts off the first 400 metres at a strong pace.
Keep it going. 81.
Her first lap is 81 seconds, so minus that from 120 seconds equals 39 seconds rest.
Wow. Really went too hard. My hips.
In lap 1 and 2, Leah went out far too hard, but between laps 3 and 7, she really, I guess, found her pace at about 103 seconds.
You can see how this will only get harder.
I went out way too hard. I'm really struggling to keep the pace, and I'm like already going again without any rest. It's getting really hard.
Nice, 103.
Leah completes lap 9 at 103 seconds, leaving only 17 seconds recovery. She's clearly hurting, but keeping pace. Well done, Leah. She has 8 seconds on recovery.
95. All right. So you've gone from a 103 to a 95. So there's definitely something else in there.
Matt drops the bomb that she has to do another one.
In 1 minute and 10 seconds, you're going to do another one. You must go sub 93, or we do another one. Yeah. You've just got to push through the mind and just convince your body that it can do it. Now, if you want real results, that's the place that you have to go, and that's where I wanted to take Leah. 192. Good job. So you want the good news?
Please, Matt.
Okay, so that there was an 82. But then she had a little too much left in the tank from 9 to 10 as we saw, and that's why I made her do one more at that crazy pace of 83 seconds that she was actually able to pull off.
It's time now to hit Paps' Iron Edge home gym to get his body fine-tuned to prepare for the upcoming event.
He's going to need all the help he can get because he's never done a triathlon before.
Yep, I'm gonna need it, mate. I haven't done a triathlon yet, so it'll be interesting.
First one, eccentric calf raise. Super easy, but a lot of people are aware of a regular calf raise, but not the eccentric calf raise.
Eccentric calf raises. This strengthens and lengthens the Achilles, which prevents it getting sore and those dreaded shin splints.
So we always want to make sure that we go up on 2. So triathlon, a lot of road running, okay? And I find that when you overstride, like because you're new to running, like you will, shin splints will be quite common. Next up, we're going to do another almost like activation drill. Obviously, you're very strong, but we need to make you efficient. We could have some problems. There we go. We could have some problems in the pool.
Ah, okay, I understand. Yeah.
Now we're on it. It's better.
The power band internal rotation high elbow drill to create muscle memory for how the water should feel as our hands enter the water during the swim stroke.
Last exercise for the program. We'll start with you just getting set up into a conventional back extension. So I just want the crease of your hips at the edge of the box.
Yep.
Back extension with single arm raise. Create stability through the shoulder. Due to swimming being so chest predominant, we want to strengthen those back muscles.
Let's do a back extension. Once again, both hands across the forehead.
Yep.
Once we get to full extension, I want you to take the right hand out with the weight plate, back to the forehead, back down, then change hands. Let's go.
The addition of a light weight will dramatically increase the difficulty of the exercise, creating even more strength.
Swimming is so internally rotated that we want to make sure that we get that back nice and strong to keep the shoulders back at the same time. All right?
Definitely gonna do the job, yeah.
Oh yeah, and we also get the benefits of, obviously erector spinae getting very strong. Yeah, good stuff, man.
After the break, it's time. The most elite and competitive race is upon them. But only days before the event, one of our guys is hit with an illness.
Oh, it's not good.
Leah and Pap are in Townsville a day prior to the Olympic distance triathlon, and they're visiting Tony at Cycle de Vie to get fitted on their race bikes.
But what we're doing is setting the saddle height and the reach and all the rest up so they're comfortable on the bike.
This is an amazing bike. I've just been told that I'm the first, or one of the first people in Australia to ride this new model Trek bike.
Basically, what we're doing here is just getting a saddle height right. What we're looking for when you come back down here, when you've got that nice little bend in your elbow, I really want about 90 degrees between the upper torso and the humerus.
While it's all smiles for Leah, Pap is feeling worse for wear. What's going on with the big fella?
Before the Townsville Tri, I had the opportunity to go to Bali for a business called Active Escapes. Essentially, they're a fitness retreat, and I was training really hard every day over there, as well as training the clients. And on the second last day, I came down with barley belly, a really bad case. I'm a bit worried about tomorrow, whether I'll be able to persevere through it and not go to hospital, get picked up by an ambulance. I'm not feeling good at all. I just have to try and mentally be prepared. It's a beautiful bike, and a great location to go on, so I think I'm gonna have some fun. If I don't die beforehand.
With the bikes organised and the fitting done, Leah and Pap head down to the festival area to register for the event and prepare their transition area for tomorrow. 4 a.m. race day, a beautiful and brisk morning in far north Queensland. Leah is attending to her transition station, while Paps seeks out the first aid officer on duty over concerns for his debilitating condition.
And I was weak, really lethargic, and he said, being dehydrated and obviously having no energy, it can be really dangerous out in the water with all the other competitors around you and the length of the swim. He advised if you do start throwing up, or if you do feel like you need to pull out, like there's lifeguards there, there's no shame pulling out.
Sick and you're in a sort of high performance event, you can't concentrate very well, so that's going to cause issues with one, obviously your performance, but your safety is a big thing. So
with the all clear from the medics, Pap finds Leah so they can make their way to the start.
Feel like you can do it?
Yeah, I've got to give it a shot and just push through it and see how it all goes. But
That's the way. You're a fit guy, you'll be right.
Yeah,
we'll get through. I'm a little nervous.
Leah's female wave starts ahead of Pap, and they're all geared up. It's now time to get this triathlon started.
try and block out all the negativity, like barley belly.
You might have noticed that Leah went before Pap. So in triathlons of this size, they actually have waves, not only designated for male and female, but then they break the male and females actually up into age groups.
I just want to get in the water and get out as quick as I can.
The Townsville Triathlon starts south of the transition with a 1,500 metre swim. Probably the most demanding aspect of this event. Remembering that our athletes have not competed in a swim event at all. Once entering the transition, our athletes will switch to the bike leg of this Olympic distance course, making their way over 20 kilometres north before doubling back on the same course. They've now travelled in total 41.5 kilometres, which leaves them the run leg, which will take them on a 10-kilometre loop of the shore and park areas of the stunning Townsville foreshore. Leah's powering in the swim leg and looking really comfortable as she approaches the first marker. Pap, on the other hand, well, let's just say he's going toe-to-toe with Barley Bella.
I was halfway through the swim. I'd been thinking about things that both Kieran and Nikki had told us to concentrate on, making sure that I didn't lift my head too high out of the water.
Leah finishes the swim leg mid-pack and is looking good as she enters the first transition.
Swimming is hard, hey. No matter what the distance, I'm just not a strong swimmer. There's an undertow and I kept feeling it pull me down close to the shore, so yeah, definitely felt like it was a lot longer than it should be. I knew that the bike was going to be a strong leg for Pap, so I wanted to make sure that I got as much lead as possible.
This is the sports scene Super Warehouse Townsville Tri Festival playing Expo with the team from Sports Scene Super Warehouse.
Bye guys!
A slippery start to the bike stage for Leah, but no problem, and she's off to do 41.5 kilometres. Back to Pap, and he seems to have made a new friend emerging from the swim, but it's taken him 50 minutes. And he's looking worse for wear. Something's not right.
195, got the GoPro strapped to his back. It would be Andrew Papas doing a super job in our males 20 to 24.
When we come back, we find out how serious Pap's condition is. But we know the big fella doesn't want to quit.
Sue will get your first aid out of the course.
I guess I got to a point where my body was just in shock when I rocked up on that shoreline and not knowing what direction I was going and who was talking to me, and I was stumbling over myself. I guess everybody could see that I was in a hard place.
Big distance, really dizzy. The Dow Ripple Demon. And they're doing a great job as well.
Light-headed.
Have a prize for the best team name.
Can't focus probably.
The Tri-Angels, the Neonatal Nutters, and whatever.
I threw a few times out there, and my shoulder impingement was killing.
Before the race, think of a really original name.
I wanted to stop so many times, but
sensational.
I just kept going. I was out in the water for like 50 minutes.
Still have a few of our swimmers coming through.
So long.
First aid is called to diagnose Pap and see whether he can continue at all.
So we do believe that he'll be back up very shortly again for a 9:30 start.
You sure?
All right, well, let's shoot his like.
And I completed the weakest link, the weakest segment of the race, that 1.5k swim. And so I was proud of myself for doing that, but I don't think my body was happy about it at all.
Leah continues on the bike leg and is going strong, but totally unaware of what's happened to the big fella.
I was on the bike and was set on picking up the pace. So I wanted to try and get into a race position and get nice and low. What I was having trouble with was my hips. They were really tight, having just come off the back of GeoQuest, and I was struggling to get down nice and low.
I want to finish the race. Nah, mate.
Pap is having delusions of finishing the race. I guess it's hard to stop a strong-minded and strong-willed person.
Just Andrew come out of the water, and unfortunately he's going to have to finish up with the event. He's suffered some diarrhoea, vomiting from a trip to Bali. His body's not quite recovered, and it's better off for him to sort of to bail out now. He's just done the swim legs, had a couple of vomits during the swim leg. It's very cold in Townsville. I think it was around about 13 degrees this morning. He's suffering a little bit of Probably a little bit of hypothermia. I think it's sort of the end of the road with this triathlon for him.
The decision for Pap to be pulled off course after the swim at the triathlon was 100% right. I'm totally behind that. I've seen people in events completely dehydrated and messed up really bad, and they've ended up in hospital, and even to the point where they've had to have parts of their stomach cut out because parts of their body has actually died, so it can get pretty serious.
It's just right up here, pain breaking the entire way.
Others who you never
How's
knew
Pap
were
going?
into
Although there's been an unsuccessful turn of events for the male half of the Search4Hurt team, Leah's off on the run leg, although now she knows Pap isn't nipping at her heels.
The run for me was pretty slow. I like to run, and usually a 10K race, I would have done it easily within an hour.
Leah said that she was disappointed with her time for the triathlon, but you know, like, they've been going a fair while now, months and months of work back to back. But I think, you know, both her and Andrew are getting pretty mentally drained. So I think, you know, before the next event, I'll make sure that they have, you know, they get their mind back in a good place so that they are ready to really put it on the line again.
With replenished liquids and looking a sight better, Pap's in better spirits and rallies around the finish line, waiting for his Search4Hurt teammate to come in.
So we've just hit over 3 hours. Leah's still in the running discipline of the event, so we're still waiting here at the finish line. I don't know what's going on. I think she wanted to get under 3 hours, so I guess she's found some hurt. Hopefully no injuries or anything like that. I know she said she felt a little bit sick this morning, but we'll have to see what happens. I can't really say anything. I only just made it the swimming leg and almost died, so.
And here comes Leah, with the usual big smile on her face, and carries the Search4Hurt team over the finish line.
Things going on.
Oh my God.
Still looks like just a few more to go before we have all of our teams in the water.
That whole
Good
way.
transition continuing.
Wow,
Not
good
pretty
job.
sure I'll put the money on this one. You look straight out in front now.
And the next event, it's an absolute killer, so they are going to have to be ready.
Next time on Search4Hurt, we have a strongman special.
Do you want to see the power?
And by strongman, we mean and woman. 15 years undefeated, Australia's strongest man, Derek Boyer, and Australia's strongest woman, Asher Tracy. You will see and learn how to unleash the inner animal. You will see and learn how the best train. You will see Search4Hurt at its finest.
It's going to be hard on the drill, but it'll take time, okay, to get that extra internal rotation.
Yeah.
All right, we'll practice. Let's go.